What are they? They're terriers, or what are they?
They are hellhounds. I mean, that is the species.
I
You
hear
might
you.
hear the background right now.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to episode number 68 of the Not So Serious Life. That is Steve Chandler with his that smile, that grin, which typically means you just did something wrong. Did you just do something wrong? Did Kathy catch you in the act of doing something?
No, when Kathy's not here, how could I do something wrong? That's how you. That's how you. That's the problem. If your spouse, let's say she's on vacation or something,
Yeah.
you don't know when you've done anything wrong. You've got to. And I get vertiginous. I get like, it's hard for me to even stand up.
You get ethical vertigo.
That's right. There's no guideline.
Oh God, the inmates are running the asylum, but it's a single inmate. Oh
That's
God, that is incredible. Okay, so on that note, is she really not there to catch you in the act of doing bad things?
She's here. I hear the dogs barking and she had no objection to the fact that I referred to them as hellhounds in my about the author section of my book.
You know, something happened to them when you moved because they never barked when you were in Arizona, and now they're barking like crazy. Like I think something has changed in their chemistry.
Yeah, they're a little more lively here. We've got to get that out of them. That joy of living. That has to be squelched.
Oh God, we got to turn them back into victims quickly because this barking is just not working
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I like it when they're skulking around.
All right, let's get into our question. And it's a perfect question based on what we're talking about here. The question today comes from Don, and Don says, what is the best way to support people close to us when they're going through dark times? And this could be dogs too, I guess. He says, I know that we need to remove negative people from our lives, but there are some people that we shouldn't be isolating from, but offering what we can without having them pull us down. If a spouse or child or dog goes into a depressive funk, how can we best help them? I've been successful and not so successful in these situations, but I found them to be some of the most difficult, at least for me. So Don says, what's the best way to support people close to us when they're going through dark times? Hello, darkness, my old friend. Oh, yeah. But tell me about that. No, that's actually really profound, though. Can you explain that for a minute? Why is that important to make darkness your friend? Or is it not, and it's just a funny mug?
Well, my when people are going through rough times, how much help can I be other than just being there for them?
Yeah.
I don't want to try to overthink it and think it's my job to really change this. They might not. They might need the experience of seeing what it's like to paint themselves into a corner mentally and go through a rough time and learn where it really comes from, which is always their thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be overly. I know this sounds heartless, but I've been accused of having no compassion whatsoever. It's one of my strengths.
Yeah.
But I think that we don't want to be overly concerned. We just want to be there for them and also give them an example of what it's like to not take the negative thoughts so seriously.
Yeah.
That's part of the mission of this show.
Yeah.
Is to show people that serious problems are solved faster when you yourself are not so serious about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's funny. So, and when you say that about the whole premise of the Not So Serious Life, I think part of that is also realizing this may be kind of what you're saying, but part of it is realizing that when you do feel down, that doesn't have to be serious. Like the fact that you're feeling it. Like this is not, the Not So Serious Life is not about spiritual bypass and tricking yourself into thinking, I never feel sad and I'm never down and I'm always this up Superman who's super enthusiastic and optimistic and happy all the time. At least for me, it's recognizing hey, sometimes you're sad and it's not that serious. And sometimes you're down and you feel like you're in a little bit of a dark place, and that's okay too. Like, it's none of it has to be so significant. If we see that there are thoughts and we see that they're like clouds that pass in the sky, or we see them like, sometimes I'll envision this if I'm really caught up in my thinking, I'll picture myself sitting like in a factory and there's a big conveyor belt that's going in front of me, and every one of these emotions are just kind of like little shrink wrapped packages, and they just slowly move from right to left. And there's nothing I need to do to speed up the conveyor belt. I don't need to get in the way and try to push them forward. It's not like an episode of I Love Lucy or whatever. Like, I just let them kind of pass along and they go off on their merry way, and I don't have to attach to this stuff. So I think that's kind of what you're saying too, and I love that.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I love what he said about I know I should remove negative people from my life. That's out of Goodfellas or something. That's pretty brutal. I love that. It's been watching The Godfather. The only change I would have is I'd have them removed from your life.
I know there are some people we should make disappear from our lives. That's what he meant to say, but I think he censored himself. And I just realized we didn't really. You answered the question. I didn't answer the question. So I'll just say one little piece that's really kind of right in line with what you're saying is that some people, they just want to be supported. Sometimes just being there with somebody. If there is something that you want to try to help with, always ask permission. This is like the cardinal thing that new coaches do all the time, that I definitely did, was thinking that because I'm a coach, that gave me the right to say whatever I wanted to whoever I wanted. And people, 99% of the time, even if you have the best advice in the world, people don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it. I mean, it doesn't matter how, it could be the greatest thing ever. Like, if you're watching this show, then you're asking for some kind of advice. That's great. Most people are not asking for advice. So sometimes the most supportive, inspirational, motivational thing that my wife can say to me when I get in a dark place is, that sucks. I can totally see why you feel that way. And she doesn't like go down the rabbit hole with me, but she's just like, yeah, I get it. She's not trying to be a savior or a hero. She's just like, yeah, I get it. I'm there with you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And, especially loved ones, especially relatives or people we're close to, they really don't want to hear advice from someone they're close to.
No.
They're not, and so that's good though. That's good news, because I don't want to be giving advice. It's hard to give advice, to think of something smart to say when you know it's not going to make any difference anyway. That's stressful.
Right. What was that, Hastings? Hastings is saying something. Is that? Do we? Can you hear
Hastings?
Of course I can hear him. What are you talking about? He sounds wonderful. He's angelic.
Someone has come to the front door downstairs, and I'm going to get a soundproof room here after a while. I'm going to have people work on this room so that our TV show is not interrupted by hellhounds.
Hellhounds should be your next book. Death Wish and then Hellhounds. It's like they fit perfectly together, Steve. And this stuff writes itself.
Hellhound, you talk about negative people should be removed from your life. Hellhounds should be removed from your life if you can, without hurting the feelings of your loved ones.
Yeah, and don't let them pull you down. That's the worst thing ever. Never let the hellhounds pull you.
Never let your dog get you down. That's advice I would give to people.
What if, what, Steve, that would be really funny. I think for Don and for anybody else watching, anytime somebody around you is in a dark place, just walk up to them and say, never let your dog get you down, and then walk away. They will have no idea what happened, but I guarantee for at least a half a second, they'll get out of their thinking. All right, so that was episode number 68 of The Not So Serious Life. Thanks so much for tuning in, as always. Keep sending your questions into questions@thenotsoseriouslife.com. Head over to our website. You know what it is. I'll put it here anyways. And remember that darkness is your friend. Welcome, acknowledge, and love him or her. Don't try to fight him. Everything's cool. We love you. Go love yourself. Peace out.
The bass.